Democrat extremism strikes again with more anti-Semitism from Ilhan Omar. More anti-Semitism.
Dude, we have an audience with one of the conservative princes, dude.
Yes.
The Democratic extremism is not relegated only to the 2020 race. There's an unfortunate truth. Anti-Semitism has a home in the Democratic Party. It does. And Ilhan Omar is praised by the higher-ups in the Democratic Party, despite saying routinely anti-Semitic things. Every 2 weeks, she has...
No. So, Ben Shapiro, for years now, has attacked anyone who plays the race card at all on the left. It's like, oh, they're just a bunch of race baiters. All they do is just try to sow discord amidst the races, and they just call everything they don't like racist, and it's ridiculous. But he's proving right here that when the shoe is on the other foot, he's going to play the exact same cards.
When he feels like it encroaches on his identity in some way, or any way that he can tangentially play to, he's right there with him.
When he can be like, oh, I'm the persecuted Jew because someone attacked Israel, that's bullshit. That's bullshit, Ben, and you know it's bullshit. You know goddamn well that criticism of Israel is not tantamount to anti-Semitism. It's just not.
Is he wearing a yarmulke, dude?
Yeah, he's wearing a yarmulke.
I've never seen Ben. Wow, how can
No, he does wear it sometimes.
Okay, well, you cover him more than I do.
But obviously in this instance, he's making sure to. But yeah, he does often wear it. Usually he wears a black one, so it kind of blends in with his hair a little bit.
Fair enough then. But
you might not have noticed it before, but yeah.
Has to apologize for anti-Semitism. She's like that GIF from Futurama.
Oh, and he says GIF too.
Oh no.
Boo!
No, Ben.
Boo! I know some of you out there say
like
GIF.
It's like that GIF from
That's
Futurama.
Fucking stupid.
And
you know what they always fucking tell you too is
TJ,
like
TJ, no.
The creator.
Yes, TJ, the creator
of the GIF said the pronunciation is GIF.
I bet you that'd be Ben Shapiro.
All right, well, the next time you buy someone a birthday present, I want you to call it a GIFT, you fucking moron. It's a G! It makes a G sound. Fuck you. Fuck the soft G. It's a fucking hard G.
It's like Jif peanut butter.
Oh, and by the way, Gmail? The creator of that said it's actually the G is silent in that, and it's supposed to be pronounced just mail. So yeah, if we let the creators determine how shit's pronounced, Gmail is just mail.
Yeah, try going there and saying it's mail.
Yeah.
Fuck you, creator of Gmail.
Yeah.
I want to see you go somewhere and give your fucking Gmail address and go, yeah, mail.com.
It's at mail.com. The G is silent.
The G is silent.
What G?
Yeah, what are you fucking talking about, you fucking
Where is this
imbecile?
It's a GIF.
It's like J.K. Rowling fucking revising her fucking books for the 10 millionth time. It's like, shut the fuck up.
One time Hermione shat in Ron's mouth. It's like, okay, J.K., you're drunk. You need to stop.
Go home, you're drunk, dude. Come on.
All of my characters were gay and trans, but you just never knew it in the books or nothing. It's just like, now it's happening. Like, okay, you know what?
You know what? I demand you rewrite those fucking books then,
right.
Dude.
I want you to George Lucas this shit, go back to your old Harry Potter books and write a fucking Dumbledore dick suck scene or something. You know?
Yeah.
Or have Dumbledore at least say, like, I am a homosexual.
When they have the memory shit, like, Grindelwald can be fucking blowing him in a fucking basement or
Harry,
something.
and he could be like, no, Harry, don't watch.
Don't watch this part, Harry. Look away. But Harry could not look away.
Cover your eyes, Harry.
It's that, Professor Dumbledore, is that your wand? Oh, no, Harry. It wasn't my wand.
Dummicus, comicus. I don't know.
Days since accident. The person who goes up and nails up a 1 and then the 1 falls down to reveal a 0. Days since anti-Semitism. Ilhan Omar, usually it's about 10, and then she has to reset it back to 0. So you'll recall that Ilhan Omar, like literally 2.5 weeks ago, tweeted out it's all about the Benjamins with regard to American support for Israel, as though the Jews, the nefarious Jews, were paying off Americans to support Israel.
Okay. Well, first of all, she's, it's funny. The funniest defense he ever mounted of this, by the way, was there was actually a clip, and Kyle Kalinske covered on his show, of Ben Shapiro literally saying that that politicians are not bought off by, big moneyed interests.
Of course not.
That they're all it's very rare to have a politician like that. Most of them are honest, upstanding people. So he's so deranged on this issue that he's actually going to say that. Look, the Jewish lobby, whether you like it or not, is very powerful. And there have been laws passed in certain states that have actually been ruled unconstitutional, where it's illegal for federal employees to be part of boycotts of Israel. Totally anti-free speech legislation, been ruled so in court. It's still happening, and actually more states are trying to roll it out. So we're basically being told that as Americans, we have to have loyalty to a foreign government because the United States government is allied with them. Ilhan Omar has actually also come out in attack of Saudi Arabia, another American ally. Strangely, you're not here calling her Islamophobic. People should attack all of these moneyed interests that are encroaching their way into our political process, and Israel just happens to be a big one. And that's why we're selling them weapons, and that's why we're sending them money.
It's so weird.
Why is Israel, a foreign nation, sucking on America's tit? Why are my tax dollars going to fund their defense? Am I an Israeli?
Well,
is Israel the fucking 51st state?
If you're playing like a game like Civilization, they would be called like a client state, which is basically like they know that they need the support of a powerful country because Israel obviously is a tiny country and it's obviously under very contested land. And people talk about this two-state solution, but like, what is the incentive for Israel, backed by major powers, to have that solution? Like, unless the entire international community is like, we're going to force your hand, Israel's not going to do that. They have no incentive to do that. It's like, give back what you've already taken from somebody else. And I mean, like, look, I understand that's a controversial issue, and people talk about the land rights and everything, but the fact of the matter is they occupy this land, and for people to realistically expect they're just going to give it back, or it's just going to be this clear-cut issue. But I think to get back to Ben Shapiro, it's really strange as someone who is known on the internet as like that fucking the trigger king. He's gonna trigger these fucking snowflakes. He's gonna take these snowflakes down. But then you're a Jewish snowflake when it comes to it.
Yeah.
When people like, even if that was the intention, even if that was what was being said,
all right,
shouldn't you just push back against and argue against the idea?
So AIPAC, that's the lobby associated with Israel. It's the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Okay? Right? So it's a pro-Israel lobbying firm.
Sure.
Okay? Last year, total lobbying expenditure, $3,518,028. Year before that, $3.4 million. Okay? Year before that, $3.6 million. So they're spending pretty much for the last 3 years about $3.5 billion $3.5 million a year.
Well, another thing
in lobbying for Israel to our government.
The governor of the state of Louisiana just, I think last month, went on a trip to Israel. Like, it's very popular in the conservative spectrum to be seen as a strong supporter of Israel.
Right.
A lot of people and a lot of politicians, just go look it up. Tons of politicians go to Israel all the
time.
Right.
I mean, I hear them. And look, if you want
to say there's no Israel has no influence on the influence on the political spectrum.
Let me make something fucking absolutely goddamn clear. If you believe in America strongly supporting Israel, that is a valid political position.
Well, sure,
and you are absolutely fucking entitled to it. But for you to say that everyone who disagrees with you is a racist, that is the lowest form of shitty fucking political tactics at that point. Because you're not having a substantive debate about issues. You're not putting facts before feelings. All you're doing is saying, anyone who disagrees with me is racist, which is the exact behavior that Ben Shapiro has criticized on the left
Roundly.
for so fucking long and so extensively. And now that the shoe's on the other foot, he's using their exact tactics, and he's not even self-aware about it. He's not attacking Ilhan Omar's political beliefs in any substantive way whatsoever in this piece. Maybe he is. I don't know. We're only 48 seconds into it. Let's let the man talk. Yeah. And he talks fast, so we'll get through it quick.
And then she apologized for it, but not really. She says, no, I never apologized for being anti-Semitic. And she walked back her own apology.
She didn't say that at all. She said that she wasn't anti-Semitic. Therefore, why would she apologize for being anti-Semitic when she wasn't in the first place? Which, by the way, Ben, she wasn't. There's nothing... Show me the quote of Ilhan Omar saying, fuck Jews. Show me the clip of her saying those Israeli dogs should be dragged out into the street and shot.
But there's some context needed for the fuck Jews one. Maybe she wanted to actually fuck some Jews.
Yeah, maybe she wanted to have sex with some Jews.
So context is important. But
No.
the other one, I mean, that's a little bit harder for context.
No, I mean, like, what she said was the Jewish lobby has a lot of influence in America because they spend a lot of money. That's true.
It's true.
That is a fact, Ben.
There's a lot of very accomplished,
And you are trying
powerful-
to use your feelings against a fact, which I thought you were against.
Apology.
You've since apologized unequivocally for the tweet. You've said rightly that anti-Semitism is real. But just to be clear, I mean, we're a few weeks on now.
I mean,
what were you apologizing for? Was it a badly worded tweet that you were apologizing for, or was it for being anti-Semitic wittingly or unwittingly?
Oh, absolutely not. I apologized for the way that my words made people feel. The reason and the purpose of the apology was to make sure that the people who were hurt felt understood and heard.
Okay, that's an amazing non-apology, right? That's so fresh and so face Ilhan Omar. I mean, on the cover of Rolling Stone with Nancy Pelosi, smiling and grinning away, open anti-Semite. Open anti-Semite. So is Rashida Tlaib, also an open anti-Semite, who in the past has suggested...
Okay, then why don't you play a clip of her going, I hate the Jewish people, the state of Israel should be destroyed, they're dogs, or they're pigs, or something. Like, why did you just play a clip? It's like, I'm sorry that people are upset.
She was basically saying, I'm sorry for anyone who took it to be an anti-Semitic remark, but it wasn't. That's what she said, and his response to that is like, oh my God, rabid anti-Semitic! This is basically Hitler reincarnated, oh my God!
Yeah, they hate us, they hate the Jewish people.
Open anti-Semite! Oh my God, you believe it!
But he's a liar because...
Fuck you, Ben, you shit heel!
But he's lying.
You shit bag!
If they're openly anti-Semitic, why can't you just play a
clip? You dried up, flecked up cum stain on the fucking carpet, you suck! Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It needed to be said about him. Like I said, if the veracity of these statements are true, then just present the evidence of them making these statements, and I'll condemn them rightly so. But it just seems like you have nothing but, that's a non-apology. Well, that's your opinion. If you feel it's a non-apology.
He's attempting
but the funny thing is Ben Shapiro,
deplatform one side of a debate. He's attempting to deplatform people on the basis of an artificially constructed idea that what they said is racist. It is not racist to be against Israel.
He's so full of shit.
It is not racist to be against the U.S.'s entanglement with Israel. I mean, there is nothing anti-Semitic about that.
But you've seen
fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
But you've seen him go to all these college campuses. You've seen him at speaking engagements dismantle the same arguments with the same logic you just presented. So there's no way he doesn't think of this as anything but a calculated political thing. I mean, obviously, maybe he's Jewish. Like maybe it is personal to him too. I don't
know. A lot of people who are Jewish are very tribalistic about Israel, and I understand there's a lot of emotion tied into it. But this is Mr. Facts don't care about your feelings we're talking to here.
Yeah.
And I look. I have a lot of Jewish friends, and one of my fucking best friends and mentor, idol, whatever, a very important figure to me, Howard Bloom, who I just did an interview with on my channel and stuff. At the end of the interview, we kind of got into the Israel thing, and I'm like, man, this is probably our biggest divergence. So let's not even cover this right now. Let's keep things positive. But man, like, I do not understand. And I've talked to so many people who are Jewish. I've even talked to people who live in Israel and tried to talk to them about, like, this is what the stuff your state has done that I think is unethical. And they're just so reflexively defensive of it. There is such a jingoism around Israel to the point where Ben Shapiro will throw his principles into the fucking wastebasket and say, no,
Easily.
now I'm going to deplatform people on the basis of inflated racism because now they attacked Israel. And it's like their allegiance to Israel is so fucking great and so high. And that's another thing. They're going to call me anti-Semite for saying they have dual allegiance. Well, I'm going to say that I think you have a higher fucking allegiance to Israel because you reflexively defend it more than you reflexively defend America. Because if I criticized America or you criticized America or anyone from the left or right or center or anywhere criticized some aspect of America, you would never say that they hated America or that
They have no right to say
they
that.
have no right to talk about that or try to make it into a racial thing or whatever you could do. You would never try to censor criticism of America, but the slightest criticism of Israel. And you're throwing around the anti-Semite label and you're trying to shut people up and you're trying to censor them and you're trying to lead outrage campaigns against them. And it's totally disingenuous and you're a fucking liar.
Well, not to mention it's widely believed, and I mean, from what I've read about Israel, that the prime minister, it's like Netanyahu.
Netanyahu, yeah.
Yeah, Netanyahu.
You have trouble with that.
Yeah, I fucking do. What's a fucking? That's not a normal American fucking name. dude.
Netanyahu. Just think of it as Yahoo.
Netanyahu.
Yeah, Netanyahu.
Netanyahu. Okay.
At least I think. Maybe I'm fucking it up too. I don't know.
I've heard that. I think he was being charged with corruption. There was very
Yeah.
serious allegations of corruption about him.
Shocking.
You know, so it's like they're not exactly defending the most, the best of governments. It's kind of like I just don't know. I don't know why people feel this need. I mean, like, look, I understand that it's probably to do with the fact it's the only theocratic Jewish state. I mean, or ostensibly it is.
It's the only Jewish state.
So I
world.
understand why maybe they're a little bit more defensive. Maybe if there was 20, they wouldn't care so much.
Right.
But, I mean, at the same time, you have to acknowledge that there's no
Look, if anyone but
there's no such thing as a perfect culture or society. You know
if
what I mean?
anyone but Ben Shapiro was making this argument, I don't think I'd be as mad. But this is Mr. Facts Don't Care About Your Feelings. This is Mr. Don't Play the Race Card, and he's doing both of those things. He's putting feelings before facts. He's playing the race card. He's doing everything he says he's against. It's totally fucking manufactured outrage. It's total bullshit, and he's got to know it. As much as I do not respect Ben Shapiro, I know he's smart enough to see that the argument he's putting forth here is totally flawed. So fuck him.
But he has to make it, because if he doesn't make it, it's basically like it's like suicide for him.
He's
to
going
not
along
make
with the herd.
it. He has to.
No, he does. You know what? There is a way out of this for him. Just don't address it. Just don't. There's no pressing need to cover Ilhan
No,
Omar.
for someone like him, with the people he knows and the people he associates with, obviously a lot of Jewish people, he has to use.
He's
his
got
phone.
a signal. You think he has? So he's virtue signaling
He has
to the right.
Yes,
You think?
he has to?
So this is just an unavoidable step for him to maintain his level of credibility in the circles that he needs it in.
It was too big of a news story. Like for him to, this is like tantalizing, dude. Ben Shapiro was salivating when he heard this fucking thing. Like, oh, I can play this card.
So you don't think there was any reluctance on his part to play it at all? He's just
no,
like,
not at all.
see, because I honestly I'd like to think that he's more principled than that, and that he's just overly emotional on this issue. But maybe I'm being naive.
He's in the attention business. I just don't think that's true.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't understand conducting yourself by those ethics, but whatever.